What's going on, guys? This is Yasin, and today we're going to be going over the 60 best non-generic cards that you can play in Yu-Gi right now. So the best blowouts for going first, the best hand shops, the best board breakers, everything, you name it, you got it. But before we go any further, as always, you know the drill, smash the like and subscribe button, and also watch the video until the end, don't be a bitch. Alright, so first things first, we've got Caught by the Grave. Obviously, you gotta side deck this card. You can also main deck it if you want to, but I wouldn't really consider it a must main, rather just a must side. Ghost Bell is another must side, because I think if you're not trying to main deck the card, at the very least side deck it, because it's good against Dragon Tail. It's not bad against the other decks, you know, it's fine. It definitely, and also against Malice, you know, so it definitely has a lot of coverage, whereas, you know, some other cards like Ogre, Veiler, etc. maybe not as good. So I do like Ghost Bell right now. Gravekeeper's Inscription, if you can play the card, you definitely have to play the card. It really is completely cracked. So yeah, I would definitely consider it a must side. It's just that it's not generic, unfortunately. Like, your deck has to, like, not lose to, like, the Dweller effect or the Sanafond effect. And usually the best effect is the Dweller effect. That's the reason why it's really good in Malice, as well as Yummy and K9 Vanquish Soul. And a lot of them were actually side decking this card at Wysis Bologna. Double Cyclone is either between worth considering and must side. It's not super generic, but the Mitsurugi based decks, or pretty much anything that utilizes like normal, ritual, quick play spell cards, if you want to beat the Dragon Tail matchup, this card is extremely good because, you know, you activate one of those blowout spell cards like Mitsurugi Ritual, your opponent tries to go like Dragon Tail Flame Negate, and then you chain Double Cyclone, you destroy your own spell card that is resolving, like the Mitsurugi Ritual, as well as another back row, and then your opponent doesn't draw, doesn't negate, and also get rid of like a Sting or something. So it is extremely good against the Dragon Tail matchup, but again, it is very niche. I would still consider it a must side for like those decks that can play it, just because of how good it is, honestly. Evenly Matched is a card that is worth considering. It's not a card that you have to play, because if your deck loses to Artifact Lancia, then you're suffering from collateral damage, because now they're shutting down the Evenly, but also like your engine, which kind of sucks. So you'd rather have other kinds of cards like Retelling Sea, for example. I think that's a little preferable. Soul Drain. This one is a little niche. Like, you gotta play, like, you gotta be able to play some floodgates, and it's only really good against certain decks. It's a broken card, obviously. I think it's like a Dweller, and you know, it shuts down like effects in the banish, so it's also good against Malice, you know? So if you go first and you have this, it's broken, but yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it could be better than I think it is. So I would actually like to upgrade it to worth considering. Heat Wave is another card that is worth considering. If your deck can OTK in like 2 seconds, then you can side deck this card in for going first, or if you're playing Sky Striker, because you can also summon monsters with Heat Wave. You can activate this and then chain the Link Cage in order to summon the Link 2 and then get so much value. It's actually kind of cracked. There can only be one. If you can play the card, you gotta play the card. It's absolutely nasty. Crossout Designator, worth considering if you can play it. Grizzly Prison, super niche. You can only play it in like Dragon Tail. If you control, I believe it's like a fusion, ritual, or tribute summon monster, I forgot. Neither player can like synchro or exceed for like 2 full turns. So it's really good against turn decks. It's just that it doesn't cover enough ground, and it might not be good against Yummy Mitsurugi, because they can still kind of play the game, you know? It's not like they do literally nothing, so just keep that in mind. Different Dimension Ground is really good. Probably going to place it here. Yeah, it's worth considering. You can also thrust into it, which is nice. Karma Cannon, it's like it's not a lingering card. You do have to like flip it at the proper timing, so it can get blown out by Duster and Lightning Storm, unlike Different Dimension Ground. But it's an Out Allegro Dancer, which is appreciated. Ghost Reaper, this card is pretty good against Yummy Mitsurugi, and if you have a lot of extra deck space, it's a good card overall. It's just that it's not really comparable to like these, you know, trap cards, so I don't really know exactly where to place it, but I'm just gonna place it here because I couldn't care less. Blago Laughs, maybe here, whatever. Ash, obviously must main, except if you're playing Lunalight, but yeah, this card negates the Chummies, so obviously you gotta play them. And speaking of which, Fua is a must main, and then Perilia is a must side, and Meows is a must side. I do think that, because you do need 9 Chummies in order to have a chance against Yummy Mitsurugi. Otherwise, they're just gonna overwhelm the crap out of you. It's gonna be too much. And they could actually just accept the Chummy challenge, gives you infinite draws. And chances are your deck is not good enough, even with like 10 cards in hand, because you can just have a lot of redundant engine and a lot of bricks and stuff like that, or dead Chummies, and you still lose, you know? So, yeah. Triple Tactic Thrust is not a card that you have to play, but if you do play it, then you do have some decent options like Blackwood Laughs, Different Dimension Ground, etc. Metal Tronus is really good in the Yummy match, mirror match, so it's cool, but it's just that you're not going to have that many Yummy mirror matches, because you're going to be always playing against like Yummy Mitsu, where Metal Tronus might be a little less good, and then Dragon Tail, so yeah. Artifact Lancia, another card that I think I would side for sure. It just makes me feel safer against Malice, so if you're in Europe, or also the trends in North America, more people are playing Malice now. Treble Tactic Talon, comparable to Caught by the Grave, a little less good in my opinion, but still really good. Ritangsi, I think this is even better than Purlia and Meows to side. If you can side deck 3 copies of it, you are in such a good position against Dragon Tail, which is pretty much the most popular deck in the game right now. Nibiru, I do want something to draw off of my chummies, so I always recommend siding at the very least 1 Nibiru, and then you can side deck more copies. Like you can maybe main deck 1 copy if you're playing Galen Granite, that's also really cool. Or you can just play more copies of Nibiru in general if you like the card. But even if you don't like the card, at the very least side deck 1 so that your 9 chummies can draw you into this 1-of blowout if your opponent accepts the challenge. Okay, so these cards are pretty much all similar, you know, Duster, Lightning Storm, Dark Hole, Regeki. I'd probably rank them like this because there's the existence of cards like Ido and Ibli, where if those cards are dropped against you, Dark Hole is better than Regeki. But obviously if your opponent gives you a monster, then you can't use Lightning Storm and Evenly. So I do think that Duster is a little better than both of these cards. And yeah, I don't really have much more to explain here. These cards are really good, honestly. You usually have to pair them with other board breakers just because that's the nature of board breakers. They do nothing on their own. Even a card like Dark Ruler, which looks like it's broken on paper, it still doesn't do enough on its own, you know? You can argue it's here or here, whatever. It doesn't really matter too much. I don't really care. Magnamut, if you're playing a deck like Dragon Tail or Malice, this card is super broken. You gotta play it for sure. Apart from that, I mean, it's just like whatever. If you want to play it, you can play it. Fallen Virtuous, this card is super good in so many decks. Like, it's good in the Radiant Typhoon, Sky Striker, whatever. It's good in Dragon Tail, obviously. It can be playable in random decks like Lunalight, branded. It's just such a good card overall. I love it so much. Forbidden Droplet, another card that you can play in so many decks. And yeah, this card is also very good against Dragon Tail. You can dodge the flame by pitching the spell that is trying to be negated. Clockwork Knight, very niche, but it's good in K9 Crystron and K9 Orchist. Anti-Spell is a card that you don't necessarily have to side, but it's definitely one of the better, like, going first blowouts. Same thing with Solemn Judgment. I would probably say Judgment might be a little better than Anti-Spell in the second place, just because this card negates just about anything, except monster effects, obviously. Kashtia Fenrir, very good in Dragon Tail, so interchangeable with the Fallen Virtuous, as well as Blazing Cartesia. Like, those cards are just really nice to play in your deck. Soundproofed is very niche, but it's decent going second against the Synchro-based decks. And obviously going first, you know, that's the real utility, but going second against Yummy, it can still be a board breaker, you know. Goes in match, I think it's not as good as there can only be one, so I'm just going to place these 2 cards here. Because a lot of decks just play one type of monster, you know. Like Malice, it's only Cybers, Yummy, only Beast, Mitsu, only Reptile, so yeah. And also, usually when it's only one type, it's also only one attribute, so it's even worse for you. But it's really good against K9 Vanquish Soul, so maybe I could actually upgrade them a little higher. But still way too niche for what it's worth. There can only be one is a better card. Solemn Strike, very niche as well. It's, you know, like, there's better cards that you can play overall. It's a 3-of, sure, but, like, that's the only positive thing that I've got to say about it. Yeah, maybe even Grizzly Prison might be better. The Viruses, maybe gonna place them here. It's a lot of setup for not necessarily enough gain, because you also have to make a lot of decisions, like, oh, when do I use it? What do I call spells or traps, etc.? How do I set it up? I don't know, not really worth it. Even though it's, you know, high impact again. Summoning Curse, definitely not good. It's only good in, like, Mimighoul or in, like, certain very niche applications. Trap Trick, not worth, because you would have to play, like, 3 Feather Storm, 3 Trap Trick for this card to really be unfair. And it's way too niche. Like, almost no deck can really do it, other than, like, Automat Raziel, really. Dimension Fisher is actually a really good one. It's good in Malice, it's good in K9... Mitsu, K9 Vanquish, Pure Mitsu. A lot of decks for sure can play this card, and it's broken against Dragon Tail. It's like, it's an anti-handshop card, a semi-board breaker, kind of. It's one of the best floodgates you can ask for. It's better than Macrocosmos for sure, because it's going to protect you from Jewel and Logbird, Effect Veiler, DD Crow. A lot of handshops, actually, that just have to be sent to the graveyard. And also 5 mana, your opponent has to chain to it, and if your opponent doesn't pitch Urgula, then at least your opponent is not interrupting you with anything, so that's really good for you. Scale Drain. Yeah, this one, if you can play it, it's pretty good. But your opponent can easily out this with Dragon Tail, so even then, like, it's very niche. It's like a random 1-of, not necessarily the best. Solemn Warning is a great card. I would place it, like, below Anti-Spell. Maybe here, yeah. It's good against, like, Mitsurugi Ritual and, like, the Dragon Tail spells, but it negates the activation, not the effect, so your opponent can just use another copy, which kind of sucks, honestly. Dragon's Mind is a really nice card in the Dragon Tail deck. You can negate just about everything and then you reset it back, so you get a lot of value. And it's also good in other decks too, so I like it a lot. Apophis the Serpent and Apophis the Swamp Deity with Silhouette Rabbit. This is broken if your deck can play it. Like Yummy Sulfa Cord and Pure Yummy, you have no other ways to out a Dark Ruler, so you absolutely need this package. Otherwise, you're going to be getting blown out by those board breakers. So yeah, just better be safe than sorry. You can't risk it. There's no other solution. You got to do this, unfortunately. D-Shifter, yeah, obviously, if you can side deck the card, you got to side deck the card, but it's very niche. Like, not a lot of decks can play this card. Well, to be fair, K9 Vanquish, again, the Mitsu decks, and, Malice, obviously, it's not that bad. Harpy's Feather Storm. Again, if you can side deck the card, obviously side deck it, but it's not generic. Like, it's only really like 2 or 3 decks, and Luna can technically play it, but I wouldn't recommend it. So it's like a must side that is not even that much of a must side. That's the reason why it's like at the very bottom. Still broken though. And then yeah, Izuna. Yeah, I would definitely main deck 3 copies of Izuna in every deck. Oh, hold on a second. This is like, maybe not in like the non-K9 decks, but it's definitely like here, because even in like Dragon Tail, for example, you can argue Izuna is just like, as a hand shop is broken, because you can make like the turn 0 Tyrus, you can make the turn 0 Typhon and then Zeus. You can make some just really broken rank 5s. You can make Zenmayo and then destroy like 2 back rows your opponent has, like in the Dragon Tail Mirror. That's really good. So Izuna is just a fantastic hand shop, honestly. And then you still got a rank 5 so that you can do a lot of things. Definitely good. Effect Veiler. I think this is one of the worst hand shops that you can play. It's worth considering, but at the very bottom for sure. Selm Scolding, Niche, kind of sucks, honestly. I think it's a little better than Strike or worse sometimes. Symbol Archfiend's complete shit. I don't like the card at all. It's really, I don't know. Unless you can search it because it's an Archfiend card, that's like the only pro, really. Apart from that, it just, eh. Jewel and Logbird. If you're playing a K9 based deck, then you have to main deck the card. Otherwise, you just side deck the card. You're gonna be fine. Maybe like a little more important than Pearly and Meows. Maybe here. And then finally, we've got Mistaken Arrest, which is the Nuts in Malice. So obviously, it's interchangeable with Gravekeeper's Inscription. And finally, Infinite Impermanence, which you don't have to main, you don't have to side, you don't have to play overall. But if you do play the card, it's not like it sucks. So I would probably place it like very close to Forbidden Droplet. It's very interchangeable with it. Even in K9 Crystron, I'm really back and forth on whether I prefer playing Imperm or Droplet. Because sometimes I look at my hand, I have Droplet and I scoop going second because I wish I had a hand shop instead. But also sometimes the main reason why I win a game is because of Droplet. Because it's just it has such a high ceiling, whereas Imperm, it's like a very fair 1-for-1 card. So, yeah. That's pretty much it for this video. Really short and sweet. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know how you feel about the best non-NG cards that you can play right now in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.